All right, the state can call its next witness.
The state will call Detective Kaaiakamanu.
solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
All right, the court would note as the state's case agent, Detective Kaaiakamanu is not subject to the exclusionary rule, so I won't make my normal inquiry. And Ms. Blake, you can proceed with your direct if you wish.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Kaaiakamanu, can you please state your name for the record?
Vincent Kaaiakamanu. Last is Kaaiakamanu.
Where are you currently employed?
Madison County Sheriff's Office.
And I've been calling you detective, but what is your current title and or position?
I'm currently the Chief Deputy for Madison County Sheriff's Office.
At the time you were involved in this case, was your title detective?
Yes.
Are you okay if I call you detective today?
Yes.
Where were you employed prior to working in Madison County?
Fremont County Sheriff's Office in Idaho.
How long were you employed with them?
About 18 years.
What was your title or position when you left the Fremont County Sheriff's Office?
I was a sergeant over detectives and school resource officers.
And what position did you hold prior to that?
I was a regular detective and then a patrol deputy prior to that.
Do you have any specialized training in order to be a law enforcement officer?
I do. I went through the Idaho Post Academy. I currently hold my intermediate, my basic, my advanced, and supervisor certificate. Throughout the years, roughly around 2,500 hours of training, and training is always ongoing.
And in October of 2019, you were working in Fremont County, correct?
Yes.
And what was your title at that time was detective?
Yes.
Do you recall if you were working on October 19th of 2019?
I was the on-call detective that night.
Do you recall missing a call that night or
Yes.
in the early morning hours?
Yes.
Why did you miss that call?
Earlier that night, I was called out to assist Idaho Falls PD in an officer involved shooting incident.
Do you recall approximately when you were called out to assist in that?
Around 11 o'clock p.m. on the 18th.
And when did you finish up with your assistance in that matter?
I got home around 4:30 a.m.
After missing that call, at some point, did you end up making contact with the deputy?
I did.
And who was the deputy?
Deputy Allie Greenhalgh.
Did you learn why she had called you?
I did.
What did she call you about?
When I made contact with her, she informed me that she was on an unattended death.
And as the on-call detective, did you always respond out to an unattended death?
No.
When would you respond out?
We would respond if there's anything suspicious after talking with the deputy that's on scene. We'd go over certain things. If there is anything out of the ordinary, any forced entry, anything wrong with the body, anything that was suspicious to them and out of the ordinary.
When you returned that call, well, let me back up. And what is an unattended death?
An unattended death is a death that's not under a doctor's care.
Is it typical for law enforcement to respond out to an unattended death?
At that time for Fremont County, not all the time.
And if someone did respond out, was it generally a deputy to start with?
Yes.
And then if necessary, a detective would show up?
Yes.
When you returned the call to Deputy Greenalch, did you learn if she'd been in touch with anyone else?
I did. I was informed that she had contacted Detective Mattingly. Mattingly?
When you reached back out to Deputy Greenalch, did you ask her questions?
I did.
What were some of the things you inquired about?
Kind of just what I spoke about. I asked her if there's, again, anything out of the ordinary, any forced entry into the house, anything that was different with the body that she thought was suspicious, things of that nature.
At that time, did she inform you of anything suspicious?
She did not.
And did you learn whether Detective Mattingly had made the decision to respond out?
I did.
And what did you learn regarding that?
That he did not respond either.
Do you know if there was anyone else on scene or anyone else that arrived?
Later on scene, I found out that Deputy Coroner and the Coroner of Fremont County was also on scene.
And who is it that determines whether or not an autopsy is performed?
The Fremont County Coroner would be the one.
And the Fremont County Coroner was on scene to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
And is it fair to say that on October 19th of 2019, outside of the initial response, no investigation was opened into Tammy's death?
Yes.
And had you heard the name Tammy Daybell before October 19th of 2019?
No.
Had you heard the name Chad Daybell?
No.
Had you heard the name Lori Vallow?
No.
Alex Cox?
No.
JJ Vallow?
No.
Tylee Ryan?
No.
Subsequent to October 19th of 2019, did you become involved in an investigation into Tammy Daybell's death?
I did.
Do you recall approximately when you became involved?
I got involved with Tamara Daybell's death approximately around March of 2020.
Do you know when the Fremont County Sheriff's Office became involved?
They received a call for assistance of an Arizona PD, Gilbert PD, October 31st, 2019.
When you became involved in March of 2020, were there other related investigations pending?
Yes.
What were those?
There was the homicide of Charles Vallow in Chandler. There was the search of the two missing kids, JJ and Tylee, and the attempted shooting of Brandon Boudreaux.
Is it fair to say that this became a joint investigation?
Yes.
Did you assist with other aspects in those or some of those other investigations that were related?
Yes.
Specifically, which ones did you assist with, or which one?
My main focus was Tammy's, and then I did assist with locating and helping with JJ and Tylee.
As part of your investigation into Tammy's death, did you review an incident that had happened earlier in October of 2019?
Yes.
Do you recall the date of that incident?
That was October 9th, 2019.
Were you personally involved in that investigation on October 9th?
I was not.
So after the fact, you looked into that.
Yes,
As part of that, did you review police reports?
I did.
Did you also review a call into 911?
I did.
And did you review a dispatch call?
Yes.
And do you recall what the nature of the report from October 9th of 2019 was?
It was a suspicious event, and our deputies were dispatched to that.
And did it involve a report of a gun or a paintball gun being pointed at someone?
Yes.
And Your Honor, I believe both of those calls were admitted into evidence yesterday, and I was going to see if I could get both of those. exhibits. And Your Honor, those have already been admitted as exhibits. I'm going to ask to publish State's Exhibit 232A.
232A can be published.
Where's your emergency?
Yeah, so my mother-in-law, who's in Columbus, had just gotten home about 10 minutes ago, was unloading her car, and she thinks the man, but she's not on the because she didn't see, because they were wearing a ski mask, came up to her with the table again, but they started shooting at her. It wasn't loaded, and it didn't, he didn't know they came out of it. But he kept asking what he was doing. He would respond, and then suddenly, after she called out with her husband, he ran off.
Okay, what's the address? Are you there? Hello? Are you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you. What's the address?
It's 199 North, 1900 East, Rexburg, Idaho, 83440. That's my address. She lives in Cape Horn. I don't know what her address is.
Okay, I need her address. What's her location?
I think it's 201, I think is her address.
201 North 1900 East?
North, yep.
Does she know which direction he ended up running?
We headed east, back behind the house.
Okay, and did she give you a description of the clothing?
I didn't get one from her. I can follow that.
What is your name?
My name is Joseph Murray.
Okay, is this a good phone number for you?
Yep.
Okay, I am sending a deputy out to your mother's home.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And Your Honor, I would next ask to publish State's Exhibit 232B.
You may.
I apologize. Now I'm having tech issues.
October 9, 2019, 21 hours, 49 minutes, 20 seconds.
Fremont County Sheriff's Office.
Hi, I need to report something.
Okay, go ahead. What's the address?
Okay, at 202 North, 1900 East, the corner with the blinking yellow light on Salem Highway.
Is it a suspicious person?
Yes.
Okay, what was he wearing?
He was all dressed in black and he had a ski mask on.
And he's at the blinking light now is where you saw him?
No, he's gone now because I pulled up into our driveway and I was getting stuff out of the back seat of my car and suddenly he was there and he had a paintball gun and he was and he was going to shoot at me. And I kept asking him what he was doing because I could tell it was a paintball thing. And then he just kept doing it. So I yelled for my husband and then he took off running around the back of my house.
Okay, give me just 1 minute. Stay on the line with me.
Okay.
October 9, 2019, 21 hours, 50 minutes, 28 seconds.
And that was North 1900 East?
Yes.
October 9, 2019, 21 hours, 50 minutes, 43 seconds.
Do you know what direction he was going?
He went behind my house and it's so dark out here and I just went in the house and got my husband and son and then they went out and looked and he was long gone by then. So he was on the north side of my house is where he went to get away.
Okay.
He didn't say anything or he just kept like he was holding the gun like he was, had a rifle and was shooting at me. So, but nothing came out of the gun either. So I don't think it was loaded.
Okay. And what is your name, ma'am?
My name is Tammy Daybell.
Okay. I will pass your information on to my deputies. We actually just had a previous call about this individual, so they're out in the area looking now.
Okay, yeah, I think it was my son-in-law who lives diagonal from us that called you guys already.
Oh,
so we
okay.
just wanted to make sure it got reported. So,
let's see. And what's your son-in-law's name?
Joseph Murray.
Okay, yep, it was him.
Okay.
So, all right, I have a deputy that will be out at your home here shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And I can hand those back to the bailiff, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Detective Kaaiakamanu, do you recall reviewing those calls?
Yes,
And particularly, there's the call from Tammy Daybell into dispatch, is that correct?
yes,
And she describes the incident.
yes,
Did you hear how she referred to the weapon?
yes.
How did she refer to it?
When she first called in, she referred to it as a paintball gun. Throughout that conversation with dispatch, she also describes it as a gun and a rifle.
Did you also, I think you've already said, but did you review the reports in relation to that incident?
Yes,
Are you aware of a search that was conducted on an apartment associated with Alex Cox in Rexburg?
yes,
Were you part of that initial search?
I was not.
At some point, did you learn of some firearms that were recovered during that search?
I was aware.
What, if any, action did you take in relation to those firearms that were recovered?
From my understanding, those firearms were taken by Rexburg PD for safekeeping. After the search warrant was served, they could not leave those there. During the investigation on the attempted shooting on Tammy Daybell and then her death, I ended up writing a warrant to seize those weapons and bring them into Fremont County for evidence.
Did you in fact seize those firearms?
I did.
Do you recall photographing one of the firearms?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have what's been marked as State's Exhibit 281A. I have a copy for counsel, a courtesy copy for Your Honor, and the exhibit. I would ask that the witness be shown a copy of the exhibit.
Thank you.
And Detective Kaaiakamanu, do you recognize that firearm?
Yes,
Is this in fact one of the firearms that was seized?
yes, it was.
What about this particular firearm caught your attention, if anything?
The ones that were seized, this one, to me, looking through them resembled or could be looked at as a paintball gun during this incident of the attempted shooting on Tammy.
And Tammy had also used the word rifle.
Yes,
Is this in fact a rifle?
it is.
Did you take this photograph?
I did.
And is it an accurate depiction of the firearm seized?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would move for the admission of State's Exhibit 281A.
No
Any
objection, Judge.
All right, Exhibit 281A is admitted.
And Your Honor, I would ask to be allowed to publish.
You may.
And Your Honor, just to have a clear record of it, the state had begun to publish our copy. I've swapped that out and we have published the official exhibit,
Okay. Thank you,
but it
Ms.
was an exact copy of it.
All right, we'll note the actual exhibits now being published for the jurors.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Kaaiakamanu, I believe there is a laser pointer up there if that's helpful. You indicated that this could resemble a paintball gun. I want to talk to you a little bit about your experience with paintball guns. What experience, if any, do you have with paintball guns?
Growing up, I shot paintball guns all the time. And then getting into my law enforcement career and getting on the SWAT team, we utilize paintball guns and paintball rifles that are set up similar to AR-15s for our training.
And what experience do you have with assault rifles?
Again, before my law enforcement career, I'd shoot them. And then once I got into law enforcement, we were issued a AR-15 and we would train with them. We train with them in SWAT training and we go to the range and shoot.
And you talked about that you were issued an AR-15. What is different between this and an AR-15?
So this rifle that you guys are looking at is actually a 6.5 Grindle. The ones that I was issued is an AR-15 that shoots 223s or 5.56. So the caliber is just that different. The lower is all the same. You just need to switch out the upper.
And based on your experience with both assault rifles and paintball guns, what part of this firearm did you believe could appear to be a paintball gun?
So if you look right here where this scope is, it is on the top of the rifle. On a paintball gun, the hopper is sometimes off to the side a little bit, just right about there on the rail. But in my experience, they've made paintball guns so advanced now that it could be on the top or on the side.
And do they make some paintball guns to resemble assault rifles?
Yes.
And what is the hopper on a paintball gun? What's the function of the hopper?
The hopper on the paintball gun is where you put your paintballs inside, and that's what holds them. And when you shoot them, that's what comes out of the barrel.
And we will come back to that exhibit in a bit.
And Judge, could I have again, a reminder of what number that was again? I have a 281A, is that correct?
That is
These
correct.
ones, yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor.
As part of your investigation, we talked earlier that on October 19th of 2019, you had not heard the name Alex Cox. Is that correct?
Correct.
At some point, did you learn the name Alex Cox?
Yes.
And was that through the investigation?
Yes.
Who was Alex Cox in relation to Chad Daybell?
Alex Cox was Chad Daybell's brother-in-law.
And before Chad and Lori were married, what was the connection between Chad and Alex?
Before they were married, I couldn't tell you.
So Lori Vallow is the connection between the two?
Lori Vallow.
And ultimately they became brother-in-laws?
Yes.
As part of the investigation, do you recall looking at an account, some searches done on a Homer J. Maximus account?
Yes.
Who was that account associated with?
Alex Cox.
And you did review some of the data in relation to some Homer J. Maximus searches, correct?
Yes, I already viewed some of it.
Did you review the whole thing?
I did not.
Did you focus on a specific time frame?
Yes.
And what time frame did you focus on?
Roughly around the time of the shooting or the attempted shooting, excuse me, on October 8th, 2019, and a few days after that.
Is it fair to say that there were quite a few searches on this account?
Yes.
And were there other searches on the days that you reviewed?
Yes.
In preparation for your testimony today, did you create an exhibit?
Yes.
Do you believe that the exhibit would assist in your testimony today?
Yes.
Do you believe it would aid the jurors in understanding?
I do.
Your Honor, I have what's been marked as State's Exhibit 107B. Similar to others, it is on a jump drive, but I do have courtesy copies of the slides printed for counsel, the court, and Your Honor. And I would ask that the witness be shown the printed out 107B.
Thank you.
And if you could look through those slides, Detective. Do those appear to be an accurate depiction of the PowerPoint created?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would move for the admission of State's Exhibit 107B.
Any objection?
Judge, for demonstrative purposes, there won't be an objection.
All right.
And Your Honor, this is a summary exhibit.
Okay, as a summary exhibit, Exhibit 107B has been admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask permission to publish.
You may publish.
And Your Honor, I have the HDMI cable plugged in, but this is not my screen showing.
Okay, we will see.
And Your Honor, I'm just looking at the time. I will indicate it's still not showing my screen.
Yeah.
And so where it is 3:17, I don't know if the court would like to consider convening early today, and I will work with IT to make sure that I have it ready for tomorrow.
I do
Judge, there
think,
won't be any objection to that. I
Okay.
understand.
thank you. It does make sense. We've got some kind of a tech gremlin going around this afternoon. We'll try to sort that out for tomorrow. Council, and I know you had it just working, so we'll work with tech. So with that, we are going to conclude evidence for the day. Council, as we do that, and for the jurors, I want to indicate some information on our schedule going forward. Tomorrow, well, I'm going to hear some motions outside the presence of the jurors this afternoon. Once we come back on the record after the jurors have been excused, I'm inclined, well, I believe I'll be able to make rulings tomorrow morning on those motions. That may take a little bit of time, so my proposal would be to start evidence tomorrow morning at 9 with the jurors instead of 8:30. Is the state okay with that?
That's fine with the state, Your Honor.
No objection, Judge.
Okay. In addition, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we've got some court staffing issues leading us to take one of our days off next week. And since we know that already, in order for you to make any plans you might on a day off, I'll advise you that we are not going to be conducting court on Tuesday, which I believe is April 30th. That will be a day without trial next week. Otherwise, our schedule will remain as it's been going forward. So that'll be the schedule upcoming in the next several trial days. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, then before we conclude for the day again, please make sure to follow the court's continuing admonition to not investigate the case, watch media or news coverage of the case. Please don't discuss the case amongst yourselves or with anyone else until you return tomorrow. Thank you for following that admonishment each day. And again, I'll leave it to the marshals who arrange for your arrival times to modify that if it needs to be for the morning, where the jurors won't need to be here for evidence until 9 o'clock. So thanks everyone in the courtroom also for following the courtroom conduct order. And with that, we will go ahead and conclude for today.
All right, please.